In this lesson, we're going to be talking about auto-starting. By auto-starting, we're talking about programs that start up at either logon or boot time. In other words, they start up automatically without the user's involvement. This is helpful to look at in the case of something like a virus or a worm attack, where you may see services or programs that are starting up without the user's involvement, and they may be doing things like opening up a back door or doing something to start up a program at boot time that participates in a botnet. So being able to find where the different auto-starting places on the different operating systems are is really helpful. And I'm going to start in Linux. So I'm in the etc directory, and I'm going to jump into the init.d directory, and you can see all of the startup scripts here. These are the various programs or services that are capable of starting up at boot time. Now, the thing about Unix is there are a couple of different flavors of Unix. Because of how Unix was created, there's an AT&T style and there's a BSD style, and the way that startups are handled is different in both cases. So in this case, what I really want to do is look into the different RC directories, and I want to see there what's starting up. Now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the different run levels, and run levels specify what mode of operation that you're in. So we have the lower run levels, which would be like single user mode, and we have a run level of 3, for example, here, which would be just console mode only. And in some cases, run level 5 would be the graphical interface. And you can specify what services get started up based on the run level that you initiate when the system gets booted. So I want to see here the different services that are starting. In run level 3, you can see here are all of the services that get started up as run level 3. Now, there are a number of run levels here. You can see we have all the way up to RC6 would be run level 6, and we have RCS, which would be single user mode run level. Now, you'll notice in RC6 and RC0 is up here, as well as RC1, all of the scripts start with K. And that's because these run levels have to do with shutting the system down. So those are all kill scripts that would shut the various services down. So if you want to figure out what services are starting automatically, you need to find where this directory is, or these directories are, on a particular operating system. As I said, depending on the foundation of the operating system, you're going to be looking in different directories. So moving on to Windows here, and with Windows, there's a few places that you want to look. So there is a startup folder, and you can see on this system that startup folder is empty, but that would be programs that would be auto-started when a user was logged on. Right now, take a look at the services that are on this particular system. So these are all of the services that are on this system, and you can see the service name and the service description. You can see the status and the startup type. The startup type tells you whether it auto starts or whether it requires manual intervention. And these services are all programs that run in the background. So you would almost never see any artifact from these programs when they started up. You may see different things sneaking in here to start up at boot time. And again, these are all boot level or boot time programs, and that would be when they would start up. This, though, isn't the only place where you can find programs that are like this and that would start up at boot time. Let me show you before I jump into the other thing. Let me show you here. I can change the startup type here. So I could do an automatic delayed start. I could do automatic. I could do manual, and I could do disabled. Sometimes disabled is really nice. If you can't remove a service and you can't uninstall it, you can set it to disabled, which means nobody could start it even if they went in here and clicked start. There's no manual mode for this. Now, of course, they could also go into these properties, set it to manual, and start it up, but you have the ability to disable services so that they can't be started, or certainly can't be started easily. So that's the services, and that's a system level thing. Now, let me show you another one here. Going to bring up a utility called msconfig. And msconfig, again, it shows you the services here. And if we go to startup, it also shows you different startup items. And these are programs that either start up when a user logs in or when a system starts up, depending on where they are. Now, I showed you the startup folder earlier. This is something different because these are stored in the Windows registry. And these are particular keys that tell the system there's some programs here that should start up when either the system boots or when a user logs in. So you can either find the place in the registry to go manipulate these and either delete them or do what you need to do with them, or you can just use this utility called msconfig, and I could, for example, uncheck one of these items and it wouldn't start up the next time I logged in. But these are the different places you would go to find where programs that may be running in the background are starting up. You would need to be able to figure that out in the case of, for example, a botnet, where there's a botnet client that's installed and it's running quietly in the background. It has to be either something that's a registry key that's starting up when a user logs in, or it's been installed as a service and it's sitting in the services list, or it's been installed in the startup menu. So those are the different places under Windows that you can find auto start programs. And as I said earlier, we looked at the different places under Unix-like operating systems where you would find auto start behavior as well.